you wasted your vote. Today I'll explain why this phrase is wrong and examine the places it's most commonly used. But before I begin to explain why it's impossible to waste a vote, let's first look into why people vote to begin with. Voting is publicly expressing your own opinions and values by choosing an option or a candidate that most represents your own personal opinions and values. This should be the first and foremost reason anyone votes for anything. This is even more critical when choosing a candidate for an electoral and representative office. Because at the end of the day, this candidate, the candidate you chose, is supposed to represent you and the office that they were elected for. So now that we have a common understanding of why people vote to begin with, let's look into the 4 types of votes that you can cast. Now, the first type of vote you could cast is the winning vote. This happens when the candidate you voted for wins. Now, when the candidate you voted for wins, it means that, like you, the majority of the voters felt that your candidate equally represented their own ideals and policies. Remember now, we vote for a candidate to show support, and the winners are chosen by majority rules. So when you vote and the candidate you voted for wins, your vote did exactly what it was meant to do. You, as well as the majority of voters, all showed support for a singular candidate. Now, this type of voting is never seen as a wasted vote, simply because, well, you won. The second type of vote you could cast is the losing vote. This happens when the majority of voters do not equally agree that your candidate fully represents their own ideals and policies. This is also the most common time when the term wasted vote is used. The idea is that anyone who does not vote for the winning candidate in turn wastes their vote. Some will even argue that you directly help the winner by voting for their opposition. However, this is a ridiculous and fear-mongering claim, as the only person that you help by voting is a candidate you voted for. Now, even if you vote for a candidate and they lose, you did still not waste your vote. Remember, people, we vote, you vote, anyone, they vote to show support for the candidate that best represents their own ideals and policies. So if someone votes for a candidate and they lose, their vote was still used exactly for its intended purposes, to show support for the candidate they believe represents them best. The third type of vote you could cast is a protest vote. This is where you don't vote because you genuinely feel there is no candidate that fully represents your own ideals and policies. This type of voting is also commonly referred to as a wasted vote, usually by people who casted a losing vote. People on the losing side will try to convince protest voters that it is their fault that their own losing candidate did not win. Their argument is that by the protesters not voting for their losing candidate, it allowed the opposition to gather more votes and win. However, it is the full right of the protest voter to vote or not to vote for whatever candidate they like. If a protest voter genuinely feels that there is no candidate that fully represents their own ideals and policies, they should not be shamed or forced into voting for a candidate who clearly does not. The fourth type is simply not voting at all, either because you just don't care or you're just too ignorant to make a logical decision for yourself. Many people will say that this is 100% undeniably wasting your vote. However, if a person actively chooses to be ignorant, or they just genuinely do not care about how politics may affect their life, then it is impossible for them to waste their vote, for that is a right they have already surrendered by choosing to remain ignorant. For someone that has never had something can never truly waste it. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Common Understanding. If you liked any of it, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more weekly content. Also check out my channel to watch the rest of my videos, or click on the annotations to link directly to my videos about North Carolina's House Bill 2, or my video on the misunderstanding of the millennial generation. See you all next time.